in this beautiful morning to tell us what else is in store and to formally welcome all of you. I am delighted to welcome the man with a broad smile, dynamic personality, our founder and Chief Executive Officer, Vinculum Group, Mr. Venkat Nott, to join us on stage. And Venkat, we all know, is a seasoned entrepreneur. He's passionate about sports, retail, and creating disruptive SaaS products and business models. In Vinculum, as a CEO, he takes care of corporate strategy, global sales, investor relations, and fundraising. And let me tell you something more about Venkat here. Besides English, he also can speak 6 Indian languages. You may test that during the networking, but for now, I'll hand over the stage to Venkat, a very own alumni of REC Calicut and IIM Bangalore. Over to you, sir. The stage is all yours.
Good morning, everyone. I always find it difficult when people give me an introduction like that. Then it becomes difficult. I want to hear myself, then it just sets the bar too high. But thank you for coming here. Thank you for making time. It's a delight. This is the first time we have done this event, the Vinculum Solution Summit, calling in all our customers and partners. It's brilliant to have you here. Let's look at, the life has changed a fair bit in the last 2 years. I think there's so many things that one has to grapple with and learn. All of us are doing it, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but remote working is still there to stay. So a lot of people, we have to be very flexible in our policies to retain people. So I would say we have been fortunate that 60% of our workforce has come back to office. I know many co-founders who are struggling with 10%, 20%, and people who don't want to come in and they've decided to have everybody work from home for the next 5 years. So there are a lot of models which are emerging out there. Taking care of personal health and mental health has become a major factor there. So that's something new. I always thought life was easy. No matter what stress is thrown at you, you enjoy life. That's how I've been taught to lead life. But that's something which we are learning because there is a lot of, there is stress possibly working at home as well. So these are some interesting new things. But let's look at some of the trends which are happening. Buyer behavior is very obvious in terms of what has happened. I think from a brand's perspective, we have seen D2C brands emerge across every category. They have come in and done fantastically well. This has been helped by the fact that there are a lot of interesting new models which have come in. So people are happy to shop more online. People are happy to try out different business models. There are models like the quick commerce companies which have come up. So that's helped. So the D2C companies, of course, has been fueled by the fact that there is investor interest. There are brand aggregators using the Mensa model, which has come up as well. There are a lot of players who are there. There's also the buyer behavior change, which has helped the D2C brands to succeed. So on one side, a lot of new brands have come, and traditional brands and brands which are household brands and high street brands are also transforming themselves to figure out how they can increase the percentage of revenues online. Interestingly, offline is back. I don't know how many of you are tracking it, but the malls are back in terms of the revenues. What we are observing is that the offline revenues are back to pre-COVID levels. There's almost a revenge shopping happening there. So there's a whole bunch of people who are back in the stores, so which is great. Now the only thing I would say is the opportunity is bigger for the household high street brands and the ecosystem players because when your online revenues are growing and the offline revenues are back and new categories have got created, people who are 50 plus and 60 plus also are shopping online comfortably. I'm 50 plus, so I feel young, but there are a lot of people out there who are 60 plus who have learned to do shopping online for the first time. And post-COVID, that's a behavioral change which is there to stay. So what I see is an opportunity for brands to do more, and people having been locked up in houses, I think that they now have the opportunity to go out and shop more. So I think there's a serious opportunity there. Of course, you have to engage more and you have to create a community there. So that's something which is important for brands to differentiate and succeed. So that's something which will define who is on the wayside and who is going to succeed. I do think quick commerce is here to stay. There are a lot of people who write the obituary of quick commerce, saying that, hey, there is no real value. What do? Why should you get things in 10 minutes? So there are a lot of people like me who need things at the last minute, and I can tell you safely, there's everyone under 30 who wants it every time they want it. So that crowd is not going down. India is poised to become the largest populated country in the world. If I look at even India, I think quick commerce is going to be something which possibly will go way beyond grocery and essentials. I would say party wear, I would say casual fashion wear, all of them are going to go the quick commerce way, in my view. Electronics will. So you want at least the standard items to be available. And that means a great opportunity for people. Malls are going omni-channel. When I say omni-channel, malls are setting up marketplaces. So this is a very interesting trend as well. So to make sure there is more affinity with the retailers in the malls, malls are setting up marketplaces. We are privileged to work with a couple of them. We're just signing up and starting engagements with some very big names there. But I can see this happening in terms of a large number of malls. So this is something which is going to be very interesting as well. So all this, of course, is going to throw a lot of issues around standardization. Standardization of content, standardization of products, standardization of attributes, images. So these are all things which are going to become more and more difficult. So one is, it was bad enough to do it for brand stores and your own stores. Marketplaces came and did their own thing. And now you got malls setting up marketplaces of their own, and also people want to be present on every possible channel. So people realize one thing now, means a lot of brands do, that, I used to hear before COVID, the high street brands say that, see, we are actually retailers, we want people to come to the store. But now they understand that you can't ignore any channel. I think social is going to be big as well. So you got to be present on social too. So from a product perspective, we are evolving to make sure each of this is easy for customers to be able to scale. Standardization, of course, we're going to talk. We are privileged to have, Mr. Joshi from ONDC to talk about it. They're going to be the UPI for e-commerce. So, means I don't, we will hear from him directly, but it's going to be fascinating hearing from him. But that and the whole product roadmap that we have is going to move towards how do we enable standardization, how do we enable faster fulfillment and faster presence on channels to enable you to succeed more. So towards that, again, there are more sessions. I won't steal the thunder of the people who want to talk about the way PIM is going to operate, etc. So there are more sessions coming there. The last one is interesting too. What's happening is we are seeing that there are people who are aggregators for fulfillment who are calling the roost in terms of making sure brands work with the aggregators. So what we're observing now is the principles like Delivery or Express Bees or Ecom Express, etc., have gone and raised prices, making it difficult for aggregators to play. So there's an open war out there. I would say, and working with the principles will help the brands in a big way. At least for the next 2-3 years, the war is going to be there. I don't know which way the play will get decided, but I do think it'll be good for you to build direct relationship with the principles. Okay. So these are some of the pointers. Again, very, very brief. I just wanted to talk a bit. From a product updates, I'll spend 2-3 minutes. One is a lot of you use part of our stack. but I just wanted to give you a feel of where we are going. We are well known for managing orders and automating warehouses. Those are things which people know us for. So we work with high street brands, we work with D2C brands. We enable every part of the ecosystem, lighting it up, whether it's marketplaces for whom we build the backend tech infrastructure for many marketplaces. We work with distributors, helping them onboard brands and automate warehouses and sell online. We work with quick commerce companies. We work with brand aggregators and retailers for fulfilling from stores and warehouse. While that we do as bread and butter, we have extended the product stack to be able to do the product syndication, digital assets in a single, basically pulling product data from any source, keeping all your digital assets in one place and publishing to anywhere. So that's something which we have, we'll have a session talking about it. We already have customers in this space, but we have enhanced it quite significantly. There is no product out there which actually does PIM and listing and OMS in one platform. So from an order management, more from a multi-channel perspective. So that's something which we are trying to democratize. So that could be very interesting when you hear the story of Fossil, how they did it, is one part of the story, that's the listing part of it. But when you combine it with a PIM and an OMS, you see the real power of what we are thinking there. The listing, of course, the mention there in orange essentially tells you where we are going. So we are doing in terms of web stores and marketplaces today. We are also going to go to some of the popular offline locations so that brands can easily be present there as well. So similarly, from a listing perspective, we do web stores and marketplaces, and not just the global ones like Amazon, eBay. We do this for regional ones like Flipkart, Lazada, Shopee, Tokopedia, etc. And we are also extending it to Middle East marketplaces. So what that tells you is anybody wanting to take your brands international, we are a great candidate for you. But more than that, we are genuinely solving a problem here. And reconciliation of returns, okay? So this is something which we are already doing, the ones in black. And the automated warehousing management, when the WMS, we are extending more and more for B2B. So that's something you will see. But the interesting aspect is we are bringing in analytics which will show you area by area where the improvements are required. It's not yet there, it's coming. But when it comes, you will find it very interesting. And that will tell you, what are the parameters at which you are operating today in terms of KPIs? How can you improve it? So that's something which is coming. And from the returns process, we are actually looking at that not just from a inventory update or inbounding. We are looking at if you want to refurbish it, if you want to resell it, that whole process also is something which will come. So that's something which we are having in the roadmap. Then from a Omni perspective, we already do this, fulfillment from stores, warehouses, extending it to franchisees. We have a commission calculator for what you pay franchises, etc. So it's a full-blown omni-channel solution. So this is used by many customers. The last one is the marketplace stack. Of course, Nykaa helped us. One of our first customer was Nykaa. Nykaa's backend runs on us. There are a few marketplaces who use us. But this is something which we are extending from a seller panel and an order management and warehousing, also to do commission calculation for sellers. So as you see, there's a whole lot of use cases here. And a whole lot, that's also a reason why we light up the ecosystem in a big way. Now, there's only one other aspect I wanted to highlight. Like everyone in the post-COVID, we had our ups and downs. Sometimes when we were, we were in our plan A, plan B, plan C of funding and things like that. So we had to put many things together. Many times investors too, they have a lot of laundry list of what they want from companies. They want you to grow, they want you to be profitable, they want you to have 12 months of runway, and they want you to do everything. So, but the good part of the story there is we have made beautiful progress, and within the next let's say 3 weeks, you will publicly hear about a massive funding which we are closing. So on that note, I will close the opening session, and I'll invite Mr. Joshi to come on board, talk about how his vision of standardization is, and how he's going to completely democratize and change the ecosystem in India and globally. Please come on.